does happen as these bans have come through thick and fast. Twitch, Siva, and Rise all banned away here from Invictus Gaming as LeBlanc, Gangplank, and now the Vladimir are going to be banned away from LGD. Cute, not sure why the Gangplank's banned. Of course, the Tide didn't find the victory on it last time we saw it, as Braum's going to be snapped up first pick.
Again, that priority pick of the Braum, not only is it incredibly powerful champion in terms of denying a lot of siege potential, again, we talk about a lot more lane swaps are coming down, so Braum's not as punished against likes of caster supports, but it's also a huge takeaway from PYL in particular.
That is a very good point. Of course, PYL can go back to the likes of Thresh, something like that. Has seen a lot of success on other champions, but Braum has most certainly been a standout.
I'm waiting for the Sona. I want the 614 Sona PYL.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
his signature champion. Oh, just wait, Atlas.
I'm ready. My body is ready. As Imp is now looking at Jhin. Jhin Gragas. Pretty powerful start, and a lot of extra emphasis being put on the Gragas here. Of course, Rek'Sai was available.
And yeah, we're starting to see this move. I like... The thing about Gragas is that he makes picking Azir and Victor and even Twisted Fate very scary, simply because of the pressure he can exert on them as mid-range mages and helping break that initial mid-lane siege. Amy is also much more comfortable on the Gragas than he has been on the Rek'Sai. He's more of a playmaking-oriented jungler as opposed to a tank frontline jungler.
And always was his style as well. The Gragas was where he sort of started to make his mark previously in the LPL when he wasn't on LGD. Kid, though, going to lock away the Graves, as well as the Ezreal being picked up for most likely Marge.
Over the course of the night, we've been talking about kind of different itemization and AD carries. Now, the LPL, if you look at kind of global picks, they have unique picks in the AD carry position in terms of the priority on Jhin and the priority on Ezreal, and much higher in those positions than the likes of Ashe, who has seen much more competition globally. The thing about Ezreal and the AD carry position in general is that it's about utility and itemizing into that utility. Jhin obviously has it passively with his slow or his pseudo-Ashe ability with the Curtain Call, whereas Ezreal will itemize into it with the Iceborne Gauntlet. He's also one of the few champions that can do damage while he kites backwards, and a lot of the LPL compositions about disengage.
Yeah, just incredibly self-sufficient on the Ezreal, with the fact that you can do a lot of damage whilst being safe. Arcane Shift, pretty good ability. That is going to be Gnar locked in for Mara, and lots more comfort here for LGD. Looks like they're sticking to their same strategy as the Thresh now for PYL, like we mentioned before. It's
all just comfort champions.
Yeah.
Save for really Imp. And the nice thing about Jhin and why I think he has kind of a higher priority than Ashe in the LPL...
Remember, every champion is a comfort champion for him.
Every champion. Is this idea that not only will Jhin bring you the kind of the similar utility that Ashe will with her ultimate and with his ultimate, but Jhin also has that late game ridiculous damage output potential. So I think that's why he's kind of like that happy middle ground of, I want to provide you utility, but I also want to kill people.
Yeah, let me do all of the things, please. As we can see, IG have rounded out their comp. That is going to be Zatai sitting on the Aurelia towards the top side of the map. Lots of carry potential for him. There is a lot of damage coming out of IG as well now that the Malzahar has also been picked. You can see there's a big grin on Punished's face, though. We'll see what he's going to take into it as Twisted Fate's now being hovered. And if we're talking about just picking comfort, makes sense, even Victor. I mean... just pick what makes you happy, boys.
So the thing about Malzahar, we saw him start in Korea. He's now leaked over into the LPL, and it's just this idea that this guy has so much lane control. His ability to push you in is fairly absurd, which is why I think it's a bit risky for Punish to look towards the Twisted Fate. There's no way he's going to be able to push out from that, and if he makes plays into these side lanes, he will sacrifice a lot of chip damage on his structure. Victor is going to be a bit more stable in terms of trying to compete with Malzahar's wave clear, but the big thing about Malz that people are not expecting is his long-range initiation on his ultimate. That's a 700 cast range.
Yeah.
And it just basically comes into a flash. You have that with the Insight Summoner. You're reducing that to, what, a 4-minute engage tool of just straight oppression.
And it's been exactly what Rookie's been using it for as well. So we'll see whether he's going to be able to get it off. As you can see, IG's comp coming together pretty nicely. Not a lot of CC there, but my god, do they have the damage.
They've got decent CC or pick potential with that Malzahar. The other cool thing about
with Malz and I guess bit the Braum as well.
is that he's so tanky with his passive, and because it denies a lot of the CC, you basically could just isolate someone, and if the team wants to collapse and try to initially burst the Malzahar, especially if he has that shield every 6 seconds as he gains more levels,
Yeah,
he's actually quite superficially tanky. He's very hard to just remove from a map.
Well, we'll see whether they can as the coaches shake hands. Let's get into game number 1 between LGD and Invictus Gaming. Thank you very much, Rookie. And here we are, not onto Summoner's Rift, but into a brief pause. As you can see, Zatai just having a look around for some things, wondering where his game's gone, and it's right there in front of you. There is a sepia screen, unfortunately, in the way. Having a look at both of our top laners from either side, as Mara and they're on your screen right now. And look, Invictus Gaming got themselves a lot of damage in their squad. What do you think they're going to be trying to do? Is this like a 1-3-1 type composition? Are we looking at Malzahar in a side lane? What's happening here?
So we talked about how the LPL in general really doesn't play split pushing compositions. They play much more 5v5. Invictus Gaming are actually one of the few teams that do run that split pushing threat in Zatai, especially on a weapon like Aurelia. So we'll see if he actually gets early attention from Kid on his coveted Graves pick.
Exactly right. As we are onto Summoner's Rift, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, first dragon is going to be that Ocean Drake that you just saw. Of course, IG setting up a lot of members here towards the bottom side of the map. So they're moving 4 men strong for an invade on the blue buff.
Obviously using the power of Braum level 1 with the Winter's Bite in tandem with concussive blows to brute force their way in here and lay down deep vision. Should be noted, Keystone Masteries, again, for Jhin, I feel like it's very telling. Had this conversation with Rusty about if you're going to go into standard lanes or initiate a lane swap, determining your Thunderlords versus your Deathfire Touch. Although it is going to be an initiated lane swap, actually responding to the deep vision place from LGD.
Yeah, so LGD just don't want any part of it. Imp going to be moving towards the top side of the map, is now actually moving back. Just have no idea what they want to do.
Well, they're doing this blind too because Aurelia actually hasn't been spotted out by any of their vision that they've placed so far. Instead, they're falling back to their Gromp. Okay? But they will see that Graves is starting bottom side of the map. So they should have full knowledge going in. This will be a 2v2. Which, again, empowers the idea of Deathfire Touch because it's going to empower elongated trades. But this will not be an elongated trade. This will be very cheeky.
Well, it certainly is. This Mystic Shot does fly over the top. LGD now understand that they're being hunted by this IG bottom lane that deny the extra experience and grab a little bit of damage onto Imp and PYL.
See if they're able to abuse that with the power of Braum Ezreal level 1 and using the reach of Winter's Bite and Mystic Shot.
You can see Imp just doing his very best to try and clear out as many of these minions as possible, get some control on this lane as Marge hanging out here as well, doing quite well. Kid now going to take down his blue buff, and everything is just going to be standard. And Zatai going to be pretty happy with that as well, as Imp taking a lot of damage. One more auto attack will do it. The heal comes out, but there's the exhaust onto Marge. Can they get the damage back as now the crit's available? Imp gets a lot of damage onto the Braum, however, not going to find too much more. There's going to be Summoner Spell advantage here for IG, most certainly.
PYL and Imp actually just losing out on the 2v2 and now losing the level advantage since Marge and Ben were able to get into that lane and bully them out. So complete control for the IG bot lane. And again, my opinion was kind of out on Ben and Marge. We hadn't really gotten a big enough sample size for them, but so far standing very tall and looking very good across from PYL and Imp.
Yeah, looking powerful. We'll see whether some levels is going to help LGD out now. As you can see, Amy moving somewhat towards the bottom side of the map. Rookie just making Punished's life awful. There's so many Voidlings.
It's just so brutal. Malzahar's control of the lane.
He's a menagerie.
It's to that extent of like Talia and Azir about just how much he can brute force shove a lane into you.
Well, certainly working out as Zatai dodges the damage.
Of course, the other big thing for Malzahar is also going to be his inexpensive itemization, looking for the Morellonomicon into a Rylai's, and how many spells really take use of the Rylai's, including his little Voidlings.
Yeah.
His Voidlings get 20% slow off of Rylai's for a second, as well as he has the ability to use his W as an AoE for the Rylai's and then the single target Rylai slow. So Malzahar is just super empowered on a very cost-efficient build.
Have to mention that Leandri's as well is also going to proc whenever his little Voidlings attack someone, can stack up pretty ridiculously after a while if they continue auto-attacking. But that's going to be after a little while, as Marin actually has to deal with Zatai. It's a fair bit of damage down, but nice boomerang comes across and he's able to kite things out. Hook, not going to quite find it. As Imp showing a lot of confidence in his support player. Always beautiful to see.
Gasp, though. Kid is actually in the bottom lane. He is going to go ahead and get spotted out by a Vision Ward placed down, which now gives Amy free reign top.
Yeah, there's the flash body slam as Marin looking to try and get a hyper proc, but it is going to be the flash out from Zatai and gets him to safety.
Again, super surprised that Kid showed his face bottom lane. Invictus Gaming, notably a team that never ganks the bottom lane. They completely isolate their duo. Doesn't matter who's down there, Rain, Tabe, Rookie.
Yeah. Anyone. It is just a desert oasis.
Kid.
Yeah, precisely. That was where it originated. As then Kid decided that he would never
He's like,
do the same thing.
You need to be tested.
Yeah, precisely.
Can you survive by yourself like I did all those years?
Yep. I dealt with Kukao, never giving me anything. Oh, God. Well, punished. Going to take some more Malefic Visions. Thankfully has a tower there to stop these Voidlings from doing too much damage. But you can see Rookie still with a lot of control.
It's the Swain effect. So the reason why Swain was so strong in 1v1 lane, if he had the ability to push forward and wouldn't be ganked, is because he has 2 damage over time abilities that will punish you and challenge you for your CS, and he just drops them and walks them away. Malzahar is in a very similar state.
Well, you can see Imp actually taking a lot of damage, gets concussively blown as Ben takes a fair bit of damage here as well. PYL going to get stunned up. A nice play comes back. You can see Amy's making his way in. The hook is going to come down to stop the stand behind me as Imp gets exhausted. Nice flash comes out. Ben keeps himself alive, but that's both summoner spells. And Marge with no mana can't stay here.
PYL and Imp strike back, really asserting their dominance with some flashy plays, particularly from PYL. And now that they've forced the back out of the dual lane, it will open up space for Amy and PYL to lay deep vision and to hunt for Kid.
We're going to find him here as well in the Raptor camp, as Amy is going to get some vision down. Does have himself the smite, steals away the Raptor quite nicely. And Kid sort of relegated right now. Imp, of course, had gone back, picked himself up some swiftness boots. I love this as an early buy for Jin. So reliant on mobility. Get himself into the right positions. As Captive Audience comes out, we'll help clear out the wave, and LGD looking to get themselves a back. And you mentioned this before, talking about sort of how these AD carries purchase items. Jin can go back almost any time if he has multiples of 360.
Yep, and he's just going to have all of those longswords available, especially if he itemizes into that penetration build that we've seen fairly popular with the Duskblade of...
Drakthar.
Thank you, Atlas.
You are welcome. Thank you for giving me that opportunity, as Zatai is going to stun up Marin here towards the top side, but nothing really happening. That was beautiful. I've never been set up like that before.
There was a handoff
This
and
is
everything.
this is why I love casting with you, Frostgrave.
Whereas, unfortunately, poor little Ezreal now has to wait and is in quite a power trough right now with his tier. A lot of people think that Ezreal is just naturally weak in a 1v1 or 2v2 lane. He's not. He's actually very strong in that early level 1 scenario. We saw them abusing that margin bin when they initially got into a lane. It's now that things start to become a problem.
Yeah, he actually used to be one of the strongest. Of course, if you think back to, times when Wriggle's Lantern was a thing, as Marin actually getting aggressed on here by Zatai, bounces away. But Amy's going to make his way in, and Zatai with no flash is going to be in trouble, looking for another Blade Surge, but Marin picks up first blood. This is something Zatai's fallen prey to quite a few times.
But there's the execution. Who could have expected that Amy was actually going to be there to assist Marn? Yes, it was beautifully orchestrated by Marn, kiting and pulling Zatai out of the lane, baiting him into the engagement.
As well, yeah.
Exactly, but huge props to Amy. He's not only shown his face bottom lane to assist with his duo, but he's now been involved into the top side and showed up when Marn needed it. So clearly communicating with their jungler and having a much stronger performance.
And now IG actually going to utilize this one to try and steal away this blue buff. Those Voidlings are going to be able to get the work done.
Look at them! There are...
I know! Like I said, menagerie. He's a walking zoo.
It's a walking petting zoo, too.
It is.
But it's that idea that he's just throws you under tower. Like, you're just sitting there minding your own business farming, and then suddenly, like, this swarm of...
They're multiplying!
I don't even know what to call them.
Well, they're voidlings.
Snowballs.
Well, actually, that's a good point.
Rush you underneath the tower, and then he drops the Maleficent visions on you. You're like, great, I can't see.
I love that movie. There's the silence. Punished continues to take a fair bit of damage here, but is going to be okay. Rookie with not a lot under his belt just yet.
He just has too many tools to chip underneath you on tower and not trade anything. He doesn't have to trade any of his position.
Yeah. And you know, he always did. I mean, anyone who's played in an ELO below gold understands that Malzahar is the worst. He throws down the ultimate onto Punished here. You can see his large farm of minions is doing a whole bunch of work as Punished has to use the flash. Gets out with the Ghost there as well. But that's both Summoner spells in trade for Rookies. One is True Shot Barrage. It's hunting for it. Punished, will he move? No, okay. It's completely going the wrong direction.
Completely
didn't look at the
fine.
trajectory. I was just watching him back. I got very excited, though.
It's cool. But that shows the power of Malzahar, you know, pulling him around the corner. No one really expects the threat range on that ultimate. And even more key is the fact that Rookie didn't even burn Flash for that. So that's going to be a huge kill threat and kill pressure that he's going to be able to exhibit on him the next time that ultimate comes up.
Yeah, Rookie as well almost has that ultimate to about half of its cooldown, so not a huge time to wait. Nothing like that flash from Punish, so next time has to be very, very careful. The Nether Grasp is a frightening ability. As Marin now taking more damage from Zatai one more time, has himself the Sheen. But Marin, whenever Zatai turns around, it's a dangerous time for the Aurelia, as Hyper is going to proc, and the Gnar going to have a little bit more power. Building towards a few different items. We'll see whether he goes towards the Frozen Mallet, or whether it's going to be Black Cleaver picked up first.
It's hard to say. Typically, he would itemize into Frozen Mallet, especially if he's against the likes of a Trundle, because it's about controlling the space between you and the Trundle.
Yeah.
Against the likes of Aurelia, though, just because of her tenacity, it's a bit dodgier or not as safe.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely keep an eye on Marin's itemization and what he feels like he can get away with. But so far, really controlling. He's kind of like the Marth of League of Legends. It's just about controlling that space in front of you.
I feel like someone's been watching Evo. There's Amy going to solo out this dragon. Marin just makes his way back into the lane. Continues to shove things down, wallops some creeps. As it's a Snow Day type of feeling at the moment. We've got Snow Day Malzahar, we've got Snow Day Gnar.
Amy picked up a dragon by himself.
He did. This guy has been doing work. Next one also going to be an Ocean Drake.
I feel like it's Merry Christmas, LGD. I got you a jungler this year.
But I feel like Invictus Gaming as well. I mean, they've been moving Kid towards the bottom side of the map as well. I mean, Rookie's playing phenomenally well there in the mid lane. These are both of these teams playing a little bit better League of Legends than we were possibly expecting at this stage based on previous performances very recently.
I'm going to say calmer League of Legends as well. I expected a much bloodier game, as I say that they continue to trade.
Yeah, nice Deadly Flourish comes in from Imp, who's moving incredibly quickly around this map. The other thing as well is Jhin in this Ezreal matchup can afford to pick up his movement speed very quickly because again, he knows the tier's there.
Yep, you're not facing across from any initial battle stats. As we actually take a look at Amy sitting in the wings looking for that lantern.
Well, PWL possibly going to get engaged on. There's the captive audience as Marge takes a lot of damage. True Shot Barrage, of course, can't be interrupted, but he's ran out of mana.
Here comes Marin, though.
Everyone's down here. There's the ultimate from Imp as he throws out the bullets. Can he find Marge as Ben takes a whole host? And Imp is going to fall down. Massive Gnar into the wall there as Kid gets launched away from that one. Collateral damage avoids the Deadly Flourish, but Rookie now looking for more as LGD just rock IG in that fight.
But this is what LGD have always been missing. They have the talent. It's about the cohesion and the synergy on time like that. Zatai also had his teleport available, but it was LGD being proactive, setting up their waves, stacking the Mega Gnar, and then pulling the trigger.
Well, in goes Rookie for one more as Punish takes a whole lot of damage. Rookie's able to pick it up with an auto attack as Zatai just decides to bask in a Chaos Storm.
That is a football field length of range right there. That was ridiculous. He hit him from about halfway down the mid lane.
Busted.
The fact when Malzahar can do that to you outside of Ryze's range.
I
mean, Victor, I think the only thing that will outrange is the laser. If he ever walks in for a Q, he's just going to get slapped.
He certainly will. And grasped. Now Marin holds onto this wave. Still everything going fine for LGD. That bottom lane trade working out for them quite nicely. About 1,500 gold lead here for this team.
And that's where LGD found success when they won their single game against EDG. It was Marn being on the Gnar, setting his team up for success, and Imp being the primary benefactor of the kills and really leading with a hyper carry. Last time it was Twitch, this time it's Jhin.
Well, of course, Jhin also with a whole lot more utility as well, so not necessarily on a champion that can fall prey to a lot of dive potential that Zatai, of course, has. That Rookie can just, flash onto him before he gets his QSS, of course. Now, Imp happily going 1v2 here in this lane.
Also helps that he has the Thresh in tandem with him. So again, Jhin, a very low mobility 80 carry, has the Dark Passage available to him if he gets into a sticky situation. But a lot of responsibility on Zatai in these 5v5s to take care of this backline.
Well, Curtain Call going to be available very soon. In fact, right now, as I talk about it. Rookie seen heading towards the bottom side of the map, and immediately the bottom lane of LGD do back away.
Yep, good vision placed on the back half of the Dragon, which PYL had actually just set up. So good awareness from LG to say we're going to continue to push forward and we need to ward appropriately for it.
Well, Imp, of course, using these traps really nicely. The box come down. Ben actually taking a lot of damage here as the Curtain Call being looked for by Imp. Doesn't find the first two, nor the third. The fourth is just going to fly through the minion wave. So Ben out of vision range, so therefore he's going to be okay.
Nice dancing shoes to make sure that that doesn't change into a kill. Still pressure forward, and Amy actually hanging out in the wings with Kid. We're still looking at a 3v3 possibly down here.
There's a lot of focus here towards the bottom side of the map. Both of these teams, very surprising for IG, as Marin able to headbutt this turret to death and will organically take this one if nothing can happen too quickly.
He is being collapsed on by Rookie and Zatai right now. Still has his hop available. We'll see how he plays it.
Yeah, actually moving around. Oh my.
He's gone. Oh,
the
ghost
has been popped. Marin is going to be able to bounce on top of Rookie's head. Doesn't have flash though, and Zatai heads over the top. Voidling's going to help. And the Aurelia picks up this kill.
So in the end, they are able to trade it, but meanwhile, bottom.
Yeah, PYL getting aggressed on here as Kid's able to come in, picks up the kill. Imp has to flash. Swiftness boots are going to be needed here, and they do get him to safety. Deadly Flourish doesn't find Ben, and LGD lose 2 kills cross-map.
But suddenly Invictus Gaming spring and wake back up to life.
Welcome to the game.
Took him a little bit.
What is this?
It's only going to get worse, Atlas.
You mean better? They're adorable.
So the initial power spike has come in for Malzahar. He's got his Nomicon available to him, so should itemize next to the Rylai's. Do you want to note that he actually went for the Sorceress Pen shoes? So we've kind of seen 2 different build paths of prioritizing CDR or Ionian boots versus Sorc Pen. I actually really like the Ionian boots, simply for the fact that it gives you the 10% reduced cooldown on your summoner spells, and because again, Malzahar's combo is so reliant on that flash ability despite its long range.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. As well as the fact that you get to 30% CDR with 2 relatively cost-effective items.
Nomicon and boots.
Yeah. It was always the way, people decided to build Lulu a lot of the time.
But the thing is that one of his damage spells has a flat cooldown, his Q.
Yep.
So you don't actually get quite as much out of it in terms of actually pulling down that CDR. He's not as reliant on it as a stat as, say, other mages are to quickly get through the rotations. Malzahar is one of those traditional mages where he kind of up front and unloads all of his abilities at once, as opposed to making multiple rotations through them, like LeBlanc, like Azir.
Like Victor, of course, on the other side of the map. For Punished, who does, in fact, have those Ionian Boots of Lucidity. Marge takes a big grenade to the face, dodges the Deadly Flourish. Which is definitely good news, but you can see Imp now with control here of the bottom side of the map. Ghostblade done. 3 long swords in hand. Ready to go towards something like
Here comes the
Malmortius. Yeah, the hook landed. Ben in trouble as the Deadly Flourish is flashed out of the way. Chaos Storm on top of Kid, who's trying to run. Punish does pick up the kill. Curtain Call, one last bullet. Ben takes a lot of damage as Marin picks it up with a massive Gnar into the wall. This is LGD just launching themselves into the whole team and destroying them.
So LGD only have 1 page in their playbook right now, but it's consistently working, and it's stack Mega Gnar, teleport bottom, steamroll them with Curtain Call. It will net them this tower as well as another Ocean Drake. So 1 page, but a really nice one.
Yeah, that's a good page.
Good page. Best page.
Let's ram our heads into the enemy team, and it certainly worked. Marin's Gnar is also always a joy to watch. As you can see, Zatai is only now going to make it towards that outer turret towards the top side of the map.
And he's not going to waste anything here. He burns the teleport. He sets his team up for 2 objective sweeps on the tower as well as the other Ocean Drake.
Cool.
And he doesn't even miss a wave. He's actually getting to his tower just in time to pick up all the CS. So phenomenal play and management of resources from Marn.
Yeah. This is something that we used to always compliment this LGD roster for, is actually controlling minion waves, moving around the map effectively. Of course, it was always PYL's style to get his team with control of the map. Haven't seen it for quite a long time, but this series looking a little bit better for LGD, despite a few problems with a certain Malzahar. Punish, however, does now have his Rylai's Crystal Scepter, so we'll be a whole lot tankier moving into this next phase of the game. Marge almost has his 2 items that he needs.
And that's the important thing. It's about where Invictus Gaming are strong and the fact that they're still kind of waiting on their next item before they move into their big power spike, Malzahar as well as Ezreal. So window hasn't closed on IG yet. We haven't really gotten to their strengths, so they just need to hold on and then start to abuse that and hopefully creep their way back into this game before LG are able to get to that hyper late game where the Victor AoE and the Jhin crit damage are just absurd.
Well, Jin's starting to do some pretty absurd things right now as Deadly Flourish flies onto Ben. Marge has to tank up the Dancing Grenade. And the Jhin becoming very scary. Another Serrated Dirk sitting there, so it is looking towards either that Duskblade or could, of course, be that Moira Malmortius. Like we mentioned before, does have that longsword just chilling out. And there's a fair bit of magic damage he wants to avoid in the form of Rookie.
And I want you to quickly point out at Rookie, every single time he pushes the wave forward, as I say this, these bot lanes are just ruthless, though. Kid's setting up for a possible dive. TP!
Yeah, immediately as Zatai's going to make his way in. PYL just running away as there's the reset from Zatai. Gets the heal out of Imp, who's still able to kite underneath his turret. They only managed to get 1 as Zatai not going to be able to back right now.
So Invictus Gaming, throw the gauntlet down to LGD. We see your 1 play. We can engineer the exact same thing, but it's the difference about timing. When IG execute the teleport play on the bottom side, they're not getting near the same that LG are getting.
Yeah, well, you can see they managed to push up that full wave towards the turret. Rookie was thankfully there to hold that one, as Marin here as well getting work done. So this wave is going to be missed. Actually, no, Zatai gets here in time, so not too bad here for IG.
Didn't translate into a dragon, didn't translate into a tower. Now a counter-engage from LGD.
Yeah, the Chaos Storm comes down onto Ben as he takes the curtain call. Chaos Storm still doing work, as if he stands in it, he's going to die, and does so as Punish picks up the kill. Marin now bouncing over the top. Meganar incoming, and actually going to utilize some Voidlings to stack that one up. Transform coming soon. Does have the ultimate off cooldown, and we'll see whether they use that to siege out this turret.
And that's really what it's about, is just having that big bully in front of you to secure another objective.
A lot of respect given to Imp with that Deadly Flourish as Rookie flashes out of the way. They get themselves the turret.
And another huge swing of power for LGD. They've now amassed, as I say that, that's not a... Oh, it is a 7. I thought it was a 2. I was like, what? How are they at a gold deficit? Behind? No, I was correct the first time. It's about a 3K lead for LGD. So organically winning their lane into the top side, expending multiple resources into the bottom in terms of ganks and teleports to win the bottom lane naturally. And then Punish, just on the Victor, turned into a farm lane and hung on for these 5v5s.
Yeah, and it has been what Punish has been doing. We heard it mentioned before. When LGD took on EDG, it's the fact that Punished, now the consistent member of this team. We'll see whether he's going to continue to do so, especially this game, as that perfect Hex core is now done.
Big mid-game power spike for the Victor.
Yeah.
The next dragon will be the Infernal, should be spawning relatively soon, about 3 minutes. Oh, I was off.
This has happened multiple times.
Well, there's no one in my ear that tells me the timers. I just have to kind of feel it.
Yeah, no, we both do. It's one of those things. But Zatai now going to clear up this minion wave. Is Marin just going to happily take down these minions as they become available. Has himself a Spectre's Cowl as well as those Merc Treads. So even if Rookie comes up, not going to be too worried. And the Nara is having a very good time.
But speaking of dragon preparation, I want to quickly point to LGD's item slots. And all of those pink wards. So they've made their backs. They have a very clear intent that they are going to fight for this one. Should be noted that there is a bit of a power spike available for Invictus Gaming.
And they're going to kill Punished incredibly easily as the collateral damage is going to finish it off there for Kid. And now IG going to push through and try and grab this turret.
Just doesn't expect the reach of Malzahar. I don't want to call it a gimmick, but obviously, you know, coming relatively new into the mid lane rotation, I feel like a lot of players aren't quite yet prepared to face across from Malzahar and respect his reach or know it as quickly.
Yeah.
But what I was talking about is the Malzahar now has his 2 items complete, the Rylai's as well as the Namicon, and then Ezreal is also very much online right now. So Invictus Gaming are in a power swing. They can look to contest this, especially now that they just took someone out for free.
They certainly did. Zatai actually going for the 40% CDR build, grabbing a Black Cleaver as item number 2 here for this Aurelia.
Just to tie things.
Yep. Unfortunately, the Rage passive doesn't actually come in as LGD are playing the fake-out game. They think, oh, they'll be setting up for the Dragon, so we're going to take a Baron.
Super risky, doing it with just 2 members to get over to the side. Of course, they do have Thresh, who's waiting for Jhin to get back into position to pull him over into the pit.
Yep.
Here we go.
Well, he's going to do it. So 4 members here in the pit. They are going to try and sneak this one away exactly when the Dragon wants to be taken. It's a big deal Dragon, but I have a feeling that the Baron at 24 minutes is going to be a bigger one.
And Invictus Gaming have no idea. They will send a True Shot Barrage as kind of a quick check, but too little too late. They move towards Infernal Drake, and a huge swing of momentum for LGD.
Yep, IG grabbing Infernal. Next one is going to be the 3rd Ocean Drake of the game here as IG decide to take themselves a blue buff as well, but the damage has been done. And LGD, we'll see whether they can get more off it.
And with tempo advantage, LG are actually stacking the wave and preparing to not only siege onto the mid-tier tower, but also setting the wave up into the top side. Invictus Gaming, they were looking to set up a wave for themselves on the opposite side of the map, immediately have to call the recall button, and are just victim to LGD's tempo.
Yeah, now Marin, exactly right. The wave that they prepared earlier, Punished is here as well. He'll have a lot of damage. Imp has a full clip of bullets ready to chuck into this inner turret, and it will fall down. Kid makes his way in, but he gets slowed down by the Rylai's. And these minions just too strong for IG to deal with at this stage of the game.
No, but the power of Braum does manage to save their tower. So again, that pick, speaking to its priority that we've seen so high in the draft, just on that alone.
Well, Marin continuing to get work done here towards the bottom side now. We'll see whether LGD are going to continue the pressure. Rookie with his shield available, not going to get hooked or anything like that, at least until that has been dealt with. But IG holding on nicely. And Kid making his way down will grab himself a red buff and get to work trying to remove Marin from their bottom inner turret.
Trying to set up a trap for Marin. It will be a 2v1.
There's the smoke screen. It's slowed down for a moment, but honestly isn't too phased here is Marin. 3 big tanky items. The Sterix Gauge, Dead Man's Plate, and the Spirit Visage.
So LGD out-rotated Invictus Gaming pretty successfully. They didn't manage to translate it into any sort of objective, although they have 2 structures that are effectively hemorrhaging right now. One of them will finally go down, but this is just straight out-macroing Invictus Gaming, which they're not the strongest of the macro teams, but it is very comforting for LGD and LGD fans to kind of see them return to former glory and a sense of their win conditions and how they move around the map.
Yeah, intelligent play out of this LGD team. It's been something we've been looking for. So Ty going to help clear things out. Has his Black Cleaver now. So 40% CDR, definitely good. Armor Shred, definitely good. Double Phage, definitely not good.
Are you ready for the late surge LGD, the playoff miracle run?
Damn right I am. I'm always ready. Happens every time.
They're 2 games out of playoff contention, though. They're sitting behind Vici, so they definitely can't afford to not win this. Double negative because it's LGD.
Yep. Well, Marin going to continue putting pressure here towards the top side. Bounces his way out. Doesn't get the concussive blows to go off.
But he manages
now able to push towards the bottom side.
Exactly, to draw enough time for them to siege up this. So again, LGD just playing their waves better than Invictus Gaming and chipping and sieging gold leads off of it. So they've now opened it up to about 5k.
Yeah. Well, 6k. Right, 5. You're right. You're right. It's a tie. Fighting onto Marin. We'll see whether Marin can actually get some work done here as that Black Cleaver starting to shred him down, but Mega Gnar's going to come in. Another auto attack comes down at the same time. Misses the Gnar, unfortunately. Zatai survives.
Almost had the alley-oop right there, but the Baron creep's doing so much damage, and with Zatai being overzealous and greedy, trying to look for the 1v1 kill, he trades his team's global structure.
Yeah.
That is the quintessential Zatai.
Well, you can see him on your screen not looking too happy with himself right now either. Always known Zatai as an emotional player. Is the Imp just going to grenade everything, head back to POL, and we'll see whether he goes home, picks up that more of Malmortius. This Jhin is starting to do some work.
And it's just been such a turbulent ride for Invictus Gaming. You know, coming so late into the LPL split, week 6, week 7, their roster making such a drastic change.
Yeah.
Zatai taking his role back as a mid laner for a short stint, now back into the top lane. You know, it just has to take an emotional toll on the team as they continue to try to force these puzzle pieces together, and nothing is quite lining up.
One thing that still is Rookie, especially now that he has his Leandri's Torment built up.
But this is my #1 problem with Malzahar. So we've kind of talked this entire game about everything that makes Malzahar strong, his lane dominance, how he abuses his lane dominance by being able to use damaging spells underneath the tower without sacrificing position, his long-range engagement, his pick potential, how superficially tanky his passive actually makes him. He is low mobility still. He has lackluster ability to move around the map and to affect them. He's pretty reliant on having both Ghost and Flash as opposed to taking a teleport spell.
Yep.
So I feel like Malzahar is kind of this hybrid combination of... He's like the Caitlyn of the mid lane with Swain. But I feel like Lissandra is kind of like just the worst Malzahar, but offers that higher mobility and that...
Safe Malzahar.
Kinda.
Something like that.
So definitely punishing IG here, and the fact that Rookie is still very strong on a very strong champion, but that champion has very limited resources to impact his side lanes that just naturally lost.
Well, vision is getting clear. Deadly Flourish very close to hitting Marge, but doesn't happen as there's the teleport. You can see the curtain call getting pulled up as well as Marin makes his way in, immediately stunned by the ultimate out of Rookie, but POL can't find the hook. Ben in trouble now as well as the gravity field's there, just trying to zone everyone away. Imp well and truly untouched here towards the backside as Ben has to get out, but you can see, look at the damage. Rookie starting to get his army in here as the blue buff even joining the party. You can see Ben right back up to the front line as Marin throws out a boomerang. Deadly Flourish not going to find anything as Rookie does have his shield smashed.
And that was massively misplayed from LGD, and they may even sacrifice their lives for this as Zatai is going the long way around, looking to dive this tower.
Yep, turret, of course, still here, which is very important, as there's the Deadly Flourish one more time. LGD are going to be able to slink out of this, but will lose their structure.
So we can talk about everything that went wrong there. PYL missing all chain form of CC on Rookie. He did force Malzahar to reposition himself and move out of his ultimate, but obviously not finding that hard CC was detrimental. And then Punish, normally such a stable figure in LGD's composition right now, burns his Chaos Storm chasing down the support Braum and then leaves it out of the team fight.
Well, unfortunate here for LGD. However, they still hold on to a lead. Marin now going to get some work done here on their third Ocean Drake of the game. They're going to have a lot of health and mana regen. But was a Infernal Drake picked up for IG in trade of the Baron previously. And 3 seconds now until that big purple worm is up. Dragon falls. So triple Ocean. As another delayed True Shot Barrage flies through.
A ridiculous region. And what's nice is that if they choose to play this coy game of the Cold Vision War around the Baron Pit, they can obviously sit here and do it far longer than Invictus Gaming by exploiting their Ocean Drake, which is why it's so important that IG moved into this area immediately and laid down the true vision of the Scuttle Crab.
I actually think it's fantastic that we were talking about Ocean Drakes and then you said koi. Just due to the fish.
Active listening.
Phenomenal. Marin just trying to get people out of the way as Punish just clears out a minion wave. This may spell go here for IG as that is a ghost on the Victor, not a teleport. Vision available here for LGD, and IG do decide to get away. Of course, they don't have a lot of reliable Baron tanking.
Likewise,
on
this
their
is
side.
Also excellent for LGD. As long as they can stall Invictus Gaming off of this, they'd love to take small little trades like this because they have the triple Ocean Drake.
Yeah.
They'll just continue to sit there and to heal back up. So if LGD can keep Invictus Gaming kind of hung in this area, that's where they want.
Well, you can see Marin actually now has himself a Randuin's Omen. This guy is full tank Nah. Understands the rest of his team can take care of the damage. He just needs to be a big, burly guy in the front line.
And he did go and finish Punish job, even though he doesn't have his teleport, by creating a wave that will slowly push into Invictus Gaming. So eventually IG will have to respond to that pressure point on the map. And LGD, again, continue to play this long game if Amy's not caught.
Yeah, well, there's the ultimate. Amy's actually just going to get malefically visioned up and destroyed. So that's the jungler dead. LGD may actually lose Baron for this one unless they can do something pretty amazing.
They can't smite steal it, so they have to fight it. Without their jungler available, that means that they have one option, and it's to ram into this pit. They cannot look for the steal.
Well, nah. Has his Narbar building. Of course, he's going to get silenced for the moment. Hook not going to land one more time here as Chaos Storm flies down. IG taking a lot of damage as there's the curtain call. Marge takes a huge chunk as in goes Marin. Gets the Gnar. That's 2 kills already as he's just messing with this backline. LGD now catch up. And this top laner is doing so much work for LGD. We'll be able to get the flank onto Kid, and this could potentially be the ace. Will be for LGD.
Completely different 5v5 this time around. Marn wasn't locked up by the Malzahar, so he was able to find the engagement, punish his Chaos Storm, went down on more than one member, as did the curtain call, and PYL actually hit his CC. So despite the fact that it was a 4v5, executed so much better from the first 5v5, and LGD are now storming through the base.
Yeah, this inhibitor is most certainly going to fall down. Can they get any more from it is the real question, as they do have a creep wave. No Baron buff, of course, as Amy's going to wake his way back down, but IG still dead for quite some time. Nexus turret number 1 falls. Nexus turret number 2 will follow. And LGD once again picking up a game number 1 this week.
And in a very dominant fashion on the back of Marn's Gnar play, in particular these 5v5s. It's nice to see the return of LGD, not just playing a clean team fighting composition, but also playing the map and their side waves well.
Yeah, and also playing the mind games here at the same time. That Baron call was fantastic. I mean, IG weren't expecting it, and it paid off brilliantly. They were able to set up sieges and take things down, and this is what we expected from LGD, was curveballs, was intelligent moves, sort of exploiting your enemy team in specific moments in the game. It's beautiful to see.
And it comes back to this idea that you just have to look at the difference between game talents and LGD to kind of understand their minion control and how much superior it is when LGD are actually playing their type of game, or the expectations that we have with the 2015 LGD. It's this idea that when game talents would teleport and make a play down towards the bottom side of the map, they would sacrifice either a tower or a massive creep wave. There was never a position where Marn is playing bottom side of the map that he's losing anything. And that just speaks to the clean preparation that let LGD mow through Invictus Gaming.
Yeah. Well, you can see this was a good fight for IG. Definitely shows that they still do have it when it counts, but unfortunately wasn't quite enough.
So the issues with this team fight is the fact that the Chaos Storm didn't hit anyone but Braum, and likewise that the Marn initiation was stalled out, but he immediately turned around. This is how you team fight, this is how their composition works, and just check out Marn's styling on the majority of this team. Yeah,
just pegs everyone back. Actually kills Marge in the first shot of the ultimate before he even makes it to the wall. And we have to say that Im's Jhin also, even though he was sort of sitting in the backline the majority of that time, missed a few of his curtain calls at the same time as well, he didn't die. He just made sure that he was a facilitator for the team, and this is something that we weren't ever expecting from him.
But that's the thing, is that Jhin is a pseudo-Ashe. It's this idea that the curtain call is replacing the giant enchanted crystal arrow, and then likewise you have the ability to hyperscale into late game and put out that ridiculous amount of damage with that 4th auto crit there. But I don't... The thing is you say that Imp's not supposed to be like a utility player, but the thing is one of his most played champions is Sivir. That's
a good point.
So he definitely has that background of being able to play the utility role, but then also bring out that hyper carry potential, which is why I think Jhin fits so perfectly in his wheelhouse.
Yeah, sort of carry with utility. But ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go to a short break. When we get back, we'll see whether LGD can close out the series, whether IG have anything more to offer. Don't go anywhere.